Story 1. This is an update to the third story title. Husband dying of cancer caught his wife on camera cheating with business partner. TLDR. Got a terminal illness diagnosis and found out my so was cheating when I came home early to break the news. TW. Terminal illness. Significant other caught in action. First, I want to thank you all for all your support. It really has helped. I have read all of your comments and it has given me a lot to think about. I am going to give some general information to help clarify my situation. Sarah and I were very young when we had the twins. They were a surprise but always wanted. So, the twins are in their 40s and the grandkids are all teens and older. Christmas is a week-long affair every year. We spend Christmas through New Year on the farm. We go cut down a tree after everyone arrives. We decorate, cook, play, and celebrate as a family. Sarah and Steve have been a part of this tradition since I bought the farm. I remained steadfast in not telling anyone until after the new year. If I told Sarah, she would not be able to keep it in. I don't want to place Steve in a position to lie to his wife. I want the kids and grandkids to enjoy the week. We will have plenty of time to cry and prepare in a few weeks. Jane's presence this week will just be a small detail in the long run. Really, I don't care about her anywhere near the rest of the family. The finances are very interesting. Jane and I met and were married after we both were very established in our job and wealth. She had a good job with a great pension. She also had 2 inheritances that were in a trust. We agreed early on that we were both comfortable, and we would not disclose to each other our entire worth by her insistence. We also have a prenup where any property or trust that predate the marriage and any income from those resources are not considered marital property. Again, on her insistence. Now I have provided both properties. I purchased the travel, food, and fuel. Basically, I support her 100%. Her income and wealth is spent by her on herself. She purchased her car, clothes, personal travel, and cosmetic surgery. She is a very beautiful woman on the outside but has shown she is very ugly inside. A few days after I got my diagnosis, I announced my retirement from the non-profit. Now knowing what I know, I noticed Jane was a bit uncomfortable. I can guess why. I will be around more often. So, tomorrow is my last day of work. Now I will be focusing on spending time with the family. I gave the camera server info to my lawyer and gave him access from his office. So, I don't know if they had activities again, but I would assume yes. Again, I don't care at this point. I know who I am and what is my worth, and AP is a big step down. As flashy AP is, I am low-key. I drive a 15-year-old pickup truck. I like jeans and t-shirts and coveralls in the winter. I know for a fact that AP does not have anywhere near the wealth that Jane thinks he does. How? Since the trust has invested in his business, I get quarterly financials. I don't tell anyone how much I have, that is between my accountants and me. But let's just say that the trust has been growing for 30 years. I live a modest life, and there is enough there for my great-great-grandchildren to enjoy the farm and have their education paid for. Once Jane knows what she lost, that will be her reckoning. I just won't see it. December really got busy. We did our normal social rounds these last weekends. AP was at one of the parties. It was hard to not keep an eye on Jane and him. I don't think I was caught. With being so busy and wrapping up everything at the job, I have had an easier time keeping it together. Jane has not expressed anything that would lead me to conclude that she knows I know. I am not proud of this, but I still sleep in the same bed. I have been selfish with her as of late. I feel like I am using her, but she has apparently been using me for at least the better part of this year. I am not as honorable as many of you have made me out to be. I hate this small amount of deceit. So don't worry about Jane getting everything, because she will not. The trust is in great hands. I have detailed instructions on how it is to be managed. Thanks to the comments, I have made plans in case my health turns for the worse sooner than I want, or if I pass unexpectedly. I have also made plans to have in-home care when it is needed. Jane will not be my caregiver. If I become incapacitated, the lawyer will tell Sarah, Steve, and the kids. Jane will be blocked from me. All important papers, valuables, and whatnots have been moved to a safe location. Finally, I have also started letters to each family member. Those have been harder than I thought. So, I wanted to update you all before all of the festivities start. I might check in during the holiday week, but if I don't, it is planned and expected. Again, thank you all. TLDR, I am getting my affairs in order. Story 2. Does almost cheating count? I'm 36, male, my wife 35. We moved to a new state for a job transfer and lower cost of living. We both were excited and came up with goals of creating a new life, making new friends, and creating stability for our young children. The pandemic hit, and we got really close to our neighbors and hung out at each other's houses. One couple went through a divorce rather quickly. That couple lived next door. The neighbor's wife moved far away, but at the couples hung out at his house all the time. He was an excellent cook and had a pretty nice spread in the backyard. One night me and this neighbor, we will call him Jim, were smoking a cigar with one of his old military friends. They began exchanging stories of how they would sleep with married women on base. I got uncomfortable and made an excuse to leave. This raised my suspicions because Jim and my wife would text from time to time, usually making plans for us all to hang out. My wife would also ask questions about Jim's love life. Whether it was right or wrong, I began to snoop. Couldn't find anything on her phone or emails, so I stopped. Over a year later, my wife found religion and told me to stop hanging out with Jim because he didn't live a clean life. I agreed because she was right. Jim wasn't the best influence. My wife went on a trip with her high school friends, which I was happy to pay for because our plans on making fiends didn't really work out. During her trip, I found a diary entry in which she expressed her attraction to this guy, that she didn't care about potential fallout of making her move on him. The entry was dated back to when we all started hanging out. Still, I confronted her about this because of all the signs. She said nothing happened. Then I found pictures of his Johnson on her phone and a text that wrote, "My husband will be out of town next week. Will you be around?" I confronted her again. She claimed it was over and that she wasn't going through with it. Mind you, I was going out of town for a close family member's funeral. I started recording her while I was away. She confesses that she didn't cheat but was going to. She apologized and tried to make up for it. Then she went back to barely putting out and her normal moody behavior. Is it cheating if she didn't actually cheat and only didn't go through with it because I confronted her 5 minutes 7 days before she has planning to? She told me to move on and that it was only virtual. She is cold every time I bring up the subject. I feel like I can move on but not that fast. Does almost cheating count? Reader comment. It's one thing to have thoughts about an attractive man and even write them in your diary. I don't object to that. It's another to have his Johnson on your phone and actual plans to meet up with him. I would suspect that they probably did do this at least once. I would tell her and I would get STD test. You might consider if you want to stay with your wife. She doesn't sound like a pleasant person in general, and if she's this far along on cheating with Johnson pics and plans, she's going to actually do this at some point. My guess is she got religion right after she cheated. So many religious people are such phonies. LOL. Talk to a lawyer, consider your options. I wouldn't want to be with someone I would feel this way about, and she doesn't seem to be very remorseful at all. Have you seen red flags with her in the past before you even moved her that you may have neglected or not wanted to see? Be prepared, son. Original poster. Started seeing red flags the first summer of the pandemic. It stopped when I took her sick mother in and started when her mom moved with her brother. Before the pandemic and the 15 years prior, she never once lied or did anything shady. She used to be a type A rule follower. I think she got tired of being a good girl when her mom got sick. Who knows? Reader comment. Getting tired of being good girl is not uncommon. Their worldview is that they give their all to everybody else, but they never get anything back. Then along comes a guy that makes a move on her. Not necessarily an obvious move, more often just attention, flattery, things to start an emotional connection. And often these guys specifically target married women because they're only competing with one other guy, the old hat husband. Suddenly the fantasies start. Guy gets more attractive, and he pushes the line more and more, and she justifies each boundary being crossed more and more. And then, when there is opportunity, the emotional affair becomes a physical affair. And while she's fantasizing about some new fantastic connection, she's trading no strings attached sex to keep the attention validation going. And NSA sex is the kind where she does things for a P that she won't with her husband. Original poster. This is the most spot-on comment yet. Yes, that's exactly it. Totally in line with what read in their text transcripts and the progressive line crossing. Thank you for the validation as well. Reader comment. It doesn't even matter if she actually effed him or not. She wanted to. She planned to. She wrote about not even caring if she got caught. She flirted and gladly got DICK pics. That is enough of a breach of trust. That is indeed cheating. Full stop. But I'll bet she already effed HM and she's trickle-truthing you. And if not him, it would be someone else. Bank on that. I'm sorry. Original poster. Someone please explain trickle-truth. I did enough snooping to see that she hasn't been physical yet. Though I think now that she is caught up and I accused her of being physical, there is a high chance of her getting physical with him or some other guy. She hates him now because of what he did after I caught and confronted him. I'm African American and calling the cops is life-threatening, but I got the feeling she's going to get physical with someone else. Don't want to go on a rant, but I know her very well. Story 3. Been a month since she blindsided, discarded, shamed, left me for a guy she met and known for a few days from her business trip. We were together and lived together for over 4 years. Had adopted a puppy together in September that I can't see anymore. Didn't communicate anything at all to me about how she truly felt. Day of the breakup, she said she wanted to find someone new to learn from, while she told some mutual friends that she had lost patience. I found out from going through her messages that a couple hours before the breakup, she made fun of me and had sent a video of the guy she became attracted to from her business trip to her close friend. I've been wondering, if I didn't go through her messages, would I just have kept beating myself up? She wanted to live like a princess when we first moved in, paying $2,000 a month for a condo. My job was paying less than $30,000 a year and I had to pick up different jobs to stay afloat. She was living off her parents' money. I cooked and cleaned for her every day, took physical abuse from her whenever she got angry. Many of our mutual friends would tell me how I did all the heavy lifting in the relationship. We became common law, and I had helped her get permanent residence this year as well. When she changed careers this year and landed a high-paying job, she declared that she got to this point of success and independency all by her own. Yet, little does she realize, she's had so many people help her with interviews, building connections, networking, and emotional support from her friends and me. Now I'm alone, 4 years with nothing to show other than marks from being stepped on all over. Rock bottom, at the lowest point in life. Had I not been getting treatment, I would have offed myself weeks ago. Hopefully, if anyone reads this, you'll acknowledge the red flags, set boundaries, communicate and take action early to avoid being in this kind of situation. Happy holidays. Reader comment. You are better off without someone like that in your life. Do yourself a favor, go completely no contact. Block her on social media, and block her number. If she tries to reach out to you, ignore it. And above all, don't reach out to her. Count yourself lucky that the only thing you wasted was time. It could have been much worse. Find yourself a new partner and carry on with your life living it for you and stop dwelling on her drama and toxicity. She's gone from you and good riddance. Original poster, thank you for the support. I'm really glad that we didn't end up getting married as I've read many devastating stories involving ownership of property and legality fees. I've removed all my social medias for the time being to heal, to better myself and to not check up on her. Here's to a new and thriving year for both of us. Reader comment. You said you got a common law, that is married. You might want to look into that, so you don't get stuck paying for some other dude's kid. Some states assume the spouse is the father and don't take no for an answer. Original poster. The definition of common law here in Canada is a bit different from the states. In my province, state, it only applies after you've lived with your partner for 3 years and does not have to be a married relationship but a conjugal one. Reader comment. Sounds like my ex. 4 years too. My fault. I said I wanted to show her the world and treat her like a princess. I delivered on my promises. 10 holidays, big house, new car, designer bags and shoes. Also, all the love, attention, intimacy, time, listening and support that anyone would expect to receive. I'm completely lost in where it went wrong. What could I have done differently? I want to snap out of this thinking and think it's her. Then I get scared as how can people be so cold, calculated and horrible. Sheb seemed like a banshee if she got frustrated. She genuinely seemed happy until the last month when she decided to monkey branch as the timing was right. F me clinical. She still sends me the odd meme as I have her cat. Absolutely nuts. Booked into therapy next week. Can't get my head around it all. I'm still in shock a month on. Found out today she'd been cheating and it's with someone I noticed 7 months prior. They're out there, bro. They're horrible. Take your time to heal. Take your time with the next partner. Spot the selfish, self-absorbed signs. I think you'll know they were there. You knew this could happen. We don't want to believe it though because they're devastatingly good at showing another amazing side. It's all fake though. You've escaped. Original poster. I'm sorry to hear that you went through this. 4 years and you really gave her everything just to get monkey branched and cheated on. It's so incredibly cruel. I hope your healing journey goes well. I'm learning to read people better through actions rather than words. In a way, we both escaped. May we pick ourselves up and spot the signs before it gets too